Hello, everyone. My name is Courtney Pollock, and I am the Customer Marketing Coordinator for SWK Technologies. I'd like to welcome you to our webinar, Maximizing ROI with Sage HRMS, Tips and Tricks for Success, presented by Danny Martinez and Julie Tibbs. Before we get started, let's go over some housekeeping items. Everyone has been placed on mute to keep the background noise to a minimum. However, throughout the webinar, you can submit any questions you have. If you'd like to submit a question, look for the questions section in your GoToWebinar, and we'll answer all your questions at the end of the presentation. We're also recording this presentation, and it will be distributed tomorrow to all attendees, as well as those who registered but were unable to attend. And finally, we'd appreciate your participation in our closing survey. With that said, we're thrilled that you've taken some time out of your busy day to be with us on this webinar. SWK is here to help you fulfill your vision of a smarter and easier way to run your business by providing you with tools, support, software, and industry knowledge whenever you need it. So whether you're here to explore new solutions or you're just here to learn, don't hesitate to ask us any questions you have. And lastly, as a quick reminder, SWK is constantly sharing important updates and software tips and tricks on our social media channels. Check us out and give us a follow on Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube so you don't miss out. Okay, that's enough for me. Let's hand it over to Julie and Danny for the main event.
Thank you, Courtney. Appreciate it very much. Good afternoon, everyone. We are thrilled you're joining us today. Just wanted to do a couple of slides to make introductions to SWK. If you do not know about all of the offerings that we provide, everything from ERP solutions, obviously, HCM solutions, and then our IT hosted solutions as well. Each one of these areas have their own different practices, and we can help and assist in any areas. So if you're happen to be looking for a new ERP, we have lots of different options there. And if you're interested in possibly hosting your HCM solution, we can definitely support and help you with that as well to allow you to have a cloud-like environment. From the HCM side of the house, wanted to just touch base on all of the different services that we offer, from the team helping with specialists in all of the different certifications that Sage HRMS provides. And each one of our experts has different software optimization, helping you to be able to unfold and unpack the different modules that Sage provides. And then obviously we have loads of different modules that you can add to your HRMS install, and it can all be hosted in the cloud as well.
Julie, I left one slide. I'm going to go back to, I thought I left a slide out here, but no, we're good.
No problem. So without further ado, I'm going to hand it over to Danny Martinez. He is our expert here this afternoon. We again appreciate very much the opportunity to chat with you a little bit about how you can enhance your HCM solution.
Perfect.
Danny,
Julie,
all yours.
Excellent. Thank you for the introduction. You know, I love doing this stuff for SWK. Thank you to everybody for joining. Good morning, good afternoon, and perhaps good evening to some of you. Thank you for joining. I promise today I only need probably about 40 to 42 minutes of your undivided attention, if you don't mind. I'd like to talk about the premium version of Sage HRMS, the return on investment, and why this software matters. And anyone on the phone call today that is a customer, I thank you a million. Probably go back to the AberSuite days, to the perpetual HRMS, and now we have this new, what we call the premium version of Sage HRMS. One thing I want to chat about here before I go into the software, any of the existing customers that have the perpetual Sage HRMS, whether you are on the silver, the gold, or even the platinum plan, we have a wonderful migration promotion going on right now. So, you know, after this call, talk to Julie, talk to your account manager, anyone over on the SWK team, and have those conversations about migrating from your perpetual install over to this premium version. And the reason why I say so is not only because of the promotions, because of all of the new features and the bells and whistles that our dev team has put into the product. It is still an on-premise software. However, We can host it like we were showing you on the prior slides with SWK. They have a wonderful hosting platform. So if maybe your ERPs are hosted now and some of the new customers acquire this, we can tie it in and host the entire thing to give it that cloud feel. So yes, please talk to them about the promotions. What we're doing right now, really high level, is if you're locked into your perpetual contract, you will get a maintenance and support credit, a prorated credit, plus a loyalty discount. And I believe there's also an incentive too for any new customers. Honestly, I think it's for everybody. So please, again, have that conversation. One of the things I'm going to talk about here, and then I'm going to tell a little story later on for the new customers as to why this software is invaluable in my organization. You see on my screen here, this is the legendary core mothership, the HRMS, the premium version. Some of the things I like to point out is that we have changed the colors in the software. So if you see that in your perpetual, I believe it's green and some black, and it's not much of this white here. It does look a little different. However, in this new version, the desktop, they have changed the colors, they have changed the logo, and they have also made enhancements here in the desktop version. The data is not touched, it is strictly the user interface. So naturally, when you migrate over, you'll have this core, you'll access your data like you normally do. Maybe your demographics, your personal record is a little bit different in your system. Just go back to my view edit employee here. So this is, you'll still have the same data. You'll have your demographics. You'll still have access to your HR status and your different events. All of this remains the same if you're using this in the software now. They have made enhancements to attachments. Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention this. This screen here, your employee roster, the perpetual version does not have this. The premium version does. A lot of customers wanted this particular screen to be exported out to Excel, which you can do that now. So you can take it out of the software, put it in Excel format. And in some of the other areas in the core desktop, like in the safety area, if you're using OSHA, there's ability now to put attachments in the different areas of the core record. So if you have those OSHA claims, you can physically put the attachments in there. And also too, in the events, you can also put the attachments here in the events. Back when COVID was popular, you could put a COVID card, or perhaps you want to put something in a resume, or perhaps licensure, a driver's license. You can put the attachment here in the core record. Your reports, you'll still have access to your reports. You'll still have access to the payroll module. So if you're still processing your payroll, it'll still exist here in HRMS. You'll still have access. Oh, let me point this out. I'm talking about all this access. On the premium version of Sage HRMS, the My Workforce Analyzer comes out of the box with the software. So if you're at that threshold and you're capturing the benefit information in your HRMS, you can use the My Workforce Analyzer. It is out of the box now. You don't, back on the perpetual, it was included in the gold, and I believe on a silver level, you had to purchase and buy the license for it. However, when you migrate over to the premium version of HRMS, this comes out of the box with the software. If you're using it now in perpetual, again, the data does not get touched. You would just launch it through the core as you normally do, and you could create those forms on demand and use the Atrix software as well. So yeah, a lot of this, again, this is where the magic happens. This is the legendary mothership of the HRMS portfolio. What they have done here in this past March of 2023, and also this past Q3 release that we did in September a couple of weeks ago, they have moved this into the web. So what's nice here is, let me log in here and show you folks here on the call what they've done here. Hit that sign in. They have moved majority of the core record into the web. So when you migrate over to the premium version of Sage HRMS, and let me point out that this does not require you to have the employee self-service portal. The requirements are similar. You would just have, you would have to have that environment to run this in the web. And to cover this here, what they have done is they moved a lot of the record over the web. What I want to point out here is what I truly like about this here is that if you have multiple locations or if you have people working from home, you no longer have to RDP, remote in, it's all browser now. So whatever the permission is that you have in an organization, maybe you were the master user in here, but now you can go and do your day-to-day over the web. This is my employee roster here. So as you see how nice and clean and modern and concise it is over the web, you still have access to all of your employee data. You can export these records. You can still use the employee find. Remember, the software still looks at anybody active and anybody out on leave of absence. We don't care how many terminated or other you have. You also have more options to do searches. Perhaps you have more than 64 employees that I have here, but it works similar, but it's modern now. It's over the web. This is what everybody wants here now and coming into 2024. Ease of access, visibility, quick access. I can hit these anchor links. I can update addresses here over the web and phone numbers and the email addresses. Just makes sense now, just the ease and the navigation of the software. By the way, there's built-in alerts for salary grades that I use in mine. Here's the current pay values here. But I got to show you this here because it's so impressive that how this software has come a long way. So current pay, I'm not bashing my legendary mothership, but this is the desktop. I love it, still does the job, but look how nice it is over the web. Pay and performance structure, you can change this information on the web. Anything you change on the web will update the core. Anything you update in the core desktop is going to reveal here in the web. User defined fields, step rates, EEO pay data. Also, current job. So this is what the current job looks like over the web. All of your definitions and your drop downs are still there. It's just you're getting this new UI. Secondary job data. Look at how nice they have put the insurance benefits. This is showing all the benefit plans, but of course I can toggle to show my current, and I can also bring in some historical records as well. Big difference over the web. Now, just want to point out, I know I'm showing you all these new features. Maybe you don't want to use the web. It's not mandatory. You still can manage the data here in the desktop and perhaps eventually move into the web. It's not a requirement. It's just an offering. It is a wonderful enhancement. Look at these views. You can work from home. Gosh, even if you go on vacation, I may be on the beach in Mexico or somewhere in Canada or wherever that I have access to internet with the URL. I log in and I can see some data. Maybe I got to do something at the last minute because I'm the only one that can do it. But see how nice everything is situated. Here's your savings benefits. You can detail. This looks a lot nicer on this side of the house. So this is the modernization that they have done in the core record. One of the things that I love to brag about here is the time off area of an employee. Look at how nice the screen launches here with the data. I know my desktop users are used to looking at the attendance summary, and again, wonderful area in the core. So you have your attendance plans, but look at how detailed it is in the web. So for me, working on this software for 14 years, this is groundbreaking to me here. The color coordination, your view of the map, of the calendar. You can go back, go forward, or you can go back in time. You can detail records, and you can also look at transactions. So this is, for me, with the time off, I know customers that were on perpetual, this was a huge ask. So we listened and we delivered. So you have the time off. So if you're using that in the desktop, this is the new view in the web version. If you're using the safety records, you can enter the information here. This is what a record looks like. It's got a nicer layout here. So this is the case information, the location, you have the incident, treatment, workers' compensation, and you can also attach the record here as well. Another thing that I'd like to point out is all of your employee tasks now live here too. So I know, just going to bring this up again, we're used to it here back on the desktop, but you can also do it in the web. So you can add new hires, change job and pay, change that personal status, delete employee records. You could rehire the employees. This is one of the things that's nice about the software too, is the rehiring of the employees. Remember, it looks at active and leave of absence, but if you have employees that have separated, you maintain those records here in your HRMS. So if they ever come back, you have that record here in your core, and you could literally walk through this widget and rehire the employee, reinstate them. If you're using HRMS payroll, you can now reinstate them in the payroll. If you're using Sage 300 payroll outside of HRMS, it'll synchronize and hire the employee in that payroll. Even if you're using the Sage 100 platform too, you're rehiring them in HRMS and you're syncing the data over into your Sage 100. So these widgets are now available over the web. You could terminate your employees. You have your time off tasks, so you can assign your leave of absences. You can post those absences to previous years, and you can return from leave of absence. Also, they've added processes in here. So you can accrue time, you can add attendance plans, you can change them, close the years, create absence transactions, delete the absence transaction, post transactions to summary, reset the current accrual year, and you can also update your benefits. One of the things that I want to point out that I love that what they've just done here in the September release is the schedule of processes. This process scheduler allows you to create a schedule name and also a process type. So if you want to have a schedule ran, you can run a schedule on accruing time. You can run a schedule to post transactions. This here is wonderful now because now you can schedule your Sage 100 link. Yes, this is not available now, but if you have this premium web version, you can schedule those employee transfers. So if you know you're running payroll on this day or whichever, or you want to do a close of business or however you want this scheduled, whatever you put in here, this is now going to schedule the employee transfer. You can also do the 100 link, the pay history transfer into the ESS, and also the time off from the Sage 100 pay ring. This was something that was an ask, I want to say about a couple of years back. Sorry it took so long, but now with the premium version, we delivered. It is in the software. You can also update benefits. So as you're using the screen, pretty much you're using the drop downs, you're giving it a name, a runtime. The process runs one time, daily, weekly, monthly, and then you also have a reoccurrence down here. So this for my Sage 100 customers and also my HRMS, premium HRMS customers, but definitely my 100. This is, to me, this is something that's that's an advantage because I know this was a huge thing, especially employee transfer. So you can definitely schedule those transfers, close a business. You know that HR hired 10, 15 employees. Why not schedule it? You'll still have access to the audit reports, but at least you know that it's running in the background and you don't have to worry about it. Another thing that I'd like to explain. Oh, I know I explained. So the web version here, I think I explained this already. One of the biggest benefits here, again, is you have remote employees working from home, or you have multiple locations. The the hub of the HRMS core is in the central office, but then you have locations throughout the states. Why not give them access to the web version? You don't have to give them access to the desktop. There could be securities involved, and when I say securities, maybe your benefits admin only needs to see insurance benefits. Maybe your safety leader only needs to see safety records, or workers' compensation, the OSHA records. Maybe you have people that handle time off. Those securities can be rolled out, and then with the credentials, when they log into HRMS, this is what they would see in the core module. You don't have to necessarily give them access to the desktop. So I think I did mention that, but I definitely wanted to talk about that again. With the web version, you don't have to access or remote in, that old-fashioned remoting in anymore. Oh, before I forget, I'm sure you see this here. HRMS, so I am a master user of HR, the HRMS record, but I'm also able to toggle into the employee self-service portal. So this was another thing that they rolled out when they did the web release. Being that you're a core user and you're still an employee, you could toggle back and forth through the systems because you have that permission within the software. This is a really nice feature because you can jump in and see your stuff. But remember too, you can also impersonate employees through the core record. If you need to talk to an employee about their views within the ESS portal, that can also be established, remember, here in the desktop core. So wanted to point that out. So again, thank you for being a perpetual customer. I definitely encourage you to move over to the premium version. But let me tell you a little story as to why this is invaluable to me and my organization. I use this software day in and day out. Naturally, what I come and do is I walk through the widget and I add a new hire. So naturally, your company will be listed. You can pick the information that you want to do in steps, and you can also send reminders as well. Once I establish this and my employee has been created in HRMS, they are now hired as an active employee. What happens behind the scenes in my organization is I now have, let me just close this here real quick. I now have a nice email alert going out like this to my employee. So essentially what's happening here, team, is I hired the record in HR. My alerts on the back end, this is a smart tool. I like to call it the smoke detector of the company. This is now creating an alert to the employee, a welcome new employee alert. Now this, and mind you, it goes out instantaneously. It goes out immediately to whatever email address I have in file, work, or maybe even a personal. I can have it go to both. This can also be a custom messaging. This is what my message is to the employee. This is nice because now the employee is welcomed. You have your welcome message. I also publish the link to the employee self-service portal. I have a couple of navigation tips, a reminder, then of course my name there with my email address. Yeah, this is nice because in these times now, when these employees see stuff like this, it's more of a welcoming. They feel more comfortable and they feel appreciated. Um, it's nice to know that you work for an organization that has something that backs up everything that they're doing in day to day. When I say back that up, an ESS portal. So with this publish of this link, it now directs me to the landing page of my organization's ESS portal. What happens here now is this employee can first time user register. Because I have hired them in HR, I don't need to get anyone else involved here. I don't need IT. I don't need their manager at this point. Just the employee. They're creating the credentials. They're coming in here, filling out the screens, security, the social security. It's authenticating back, saying, yep, you're an employee. Walk through the steps here. Once they create those credentials, I have now allowed them access into the employee self-service portal. And when I say access, all of the information that I'm housing in HR I'm now revealing to them in the portal. Not only am I revealing it to them, but I am allowing them to come in and self-serve. This is a nice tool because now you're empowering your employee to go in and do things on their own instead of making a phone call, emails. Guys, you know how it is in HR. Your day-to-days, without a tool like this, your day-to-day consists of probably the old-fashioned manila envelopes, phone calls, emails, probably even text messages. God knows if you still have sticky notes. I know they still sell them at Staples. I've gone to businesses and they're still using sticky notes. Kind of old-fashioned. When you have a tool like this, your employees are now going in and updating all of the corresponding areas in HR. One thing I like to point out is I do everything where I want approvals. So back in my HRMS, on my employees, I have a manager and supervisor record. So here in the system, I have defined that certain areas I want these managers to be involved of this process. Like an address, this will go to the manager and they'll get an email alert saying, hey, Julie changed her address. They'll see it on their message center. They go in, they approve it. And what's nice is this all refreshes the core record where I was just in a little while ago showing you the back office. That's getting refreshed for you real time. It's not happening overnight. It's not happening later in the day. It's a real time refresh. And what's nice about it is that a lot of this stuff in your payroll software, if you're using HRMS payroll, it's going to sync and update that. If you're using Sage 300 payroll outside, it's still going to sync and update payroll. And same thing with Sage 100. It's going to transfer that data into Sage 100. The purpose here is to let them do it, go for approval, update the core, update payroll, and there's honestly no paperwork involved because the system is designed to talk. So this is truly, for me, this is where it becomes invaluable because now a lot of my day to day, I don't have to worry about this because my system is doing it for me. You don't have to open up all the areas. So in my personal profile example, I don't want them changing this here. However, they could change this here. Um, Also, too, some of the events that I have. And when I say the events, my perpetual customers, some of you probably use this area. I use events for training, certifications, driver's licenses, things like that. What this is the smoke detector of the company. This is to let you and your employees and managers know, hey, you got something coming due. What are we going to do about it? When is it coming due? You have it defined in HR. You now reveal it to them in the portal. They can see the information and also make edits, and they can also add new events in the portal. But what's nice about this here is just like that email alert I was showing you for the new hire, this could trigger alerts saying, hey, your driver's license is coming due on such and such date, or you have training coming due on such and such date. That messaging goes out to in an email format with your custom verbiage in there on the next step. What needs to be done so this stuff doesn't expire. We all know what happens when things expire. I'm not going to go there, but let's just imagine you have something like this and that doesn't happen. So you have your events area. You can also reveal notes from HR, and you can also reveal leave of absence. The time off, remember I showed you in the core record, look at how nice it looks for the employees. It is a tile format. Again, they can see a broad view of their calendar. Of course, if this thing was multiple approvals on here and time off requests, this thing would be lit up like a Christmas tree. They can detail the different plans. Let me see if I have one that actually has detailed information. I don't. But this gray area down here would have all the past transactions. And they can also request time off and all of the plans that they have availability and that I've revealed to them in the portal. What happens here is now these time off requests go to the manager, the supervisor on record for approval. They get an email saying, hey, Julie wants to take a day off, or she needs a sick day, or maybe she's using some of the FMLA or whichever, or last minute vacation. All of that can be detailed here. And what's nice too is they added this feature in here that you can physically upload an attachment. So if your organization requires a sick note or a doctor's note or something for a sick day, sick time, perhaps they can upload that attachment as well. Oh, and by the way, for anyone on perpetual that has the perpetual ESS, please look at, I mean, just, I'm going to stop here. Look at this view. If you got a second, open up your view, put these things side by side. As you can see, clear as day. This is one of the reasons why we want you to move over to the premium version of HRMS. But, and again, this is the redesigned Sage HRMS ESS portal, the premium Sage HRMS ESS portal. So those time off views that you used to there, this is what they look like here. The logic is still the same. It'll still go for approval. It'll update, creates transactions, and so on. But again, look at this view here. And by the way, look how nice. I'm going to jump over here real quick. This is a manager view. This is the direct reports. Let me go by March. I think I had some data in March. This is my direct reports. Donna's got these days off, more days off. You see they're color coordinated by the legend. You know, this is a nice area for the managers. They can come in here on this version and they can see, hey, I got, you know, maybe I have all these people off, and they could decipher whether they want to approve that time off request or not. So that's a manager view here. I'm going to hop back into employee and kind of talk a little bit why my system remains invaluable here. So I talked about an alert. Oh, the ESS portal. I need to mention this. Just like the core module, now that it's web, the requirements are very similar to the web version of the HRMS and the ESS. So that environment, we could share the specs with you. Honestly, it operates pretty much the same thing. The data is different in the HR core because it's the back office data. Then you reveal the ESS data, but the requirements to run it on the web are essentially the same as the ESS portal. You can use this on campus. They can use this on a smart device. I allow my employees to access this from home. So all of those different areas that I was showing you, updating the core, you know, the personal or doing time off requests, they can do all that from home. I'm allowing my employees to do that from home. On the roadmap here, they're coming out with a nice app. So in your app store or whatever, your smart device, they're going to have a physical downloadable app that is actually soon to come here. So as you see, they're truly enhancing this product and really getting with the times here with all of the competitors out there. I wanted to share that. So they are definitely doing an app. But for now, again, you can do it from home, do it on campus if you just want a stricter campus, or you can allow it to optimize to your cellular device for the time being. So that was the time off area I was showing before, but I also showed the manager. But you also reveal current benefit information. So in my HRMS, I manage all of my cafeteria plans, all of my insurance benefits that I offer to my employees. This is nice because when you hire that employee, you know, current employees will see this because they've been with you. This is the, you know, through tenure employment, they already have their current benefits. However, with that new employee, if you have this feature in your portfolio, you can let them come in and do a life event, which can essentially be a new hire life event. What's nice here is they walk through what we call a guided life event, almost like an open enrollment. So that, you know, this new employee, if you allow this right off the bat, you know, maybe you have a waiting period, whichever, but I'm allowing my employee to come in because I offer it from the first day they are hired. They can come in and do a life event as a new hire and walk through this widget and make their elections. So again, another thing going in my organization, I have everything in one place for this employee. I don't have him going to this website or her going to that website. They're not going here, they're not going there. Everything is provided in the employee self-service portal. At the end of the day, this just makes things easier for you folks in HR and also payroll, because now you have a system, an all-in-one under one umbrella, doing everything. HR, benefits, time off, everything is feeding into core and corresponding to your system, reducing all of those manual entries. You have a full-blown system here. But yep, life events. You also have open enrollment. So this is a guided open enrollment. By the way, just to educate, you don't have to have this. This does not have to happen. This is something that you can add after the fact. My perpetual customers, if you don't use this now, if you do use it, look at how nice, if you do use it, look at the nice guided open enrollment. So you have that guided wizard there. So definitely migrate. If you don't have it, why not talk to your rep about adding in what we call the premium HRMS benefits enrollment, which will now put these two things in your menu. You'll have life events and you'll also have the open enrollment widget. The new premium version comes with benefit letters. I like to call this kind of the total compensation letter. You can generate it as an admin, shows all of the elected plans, even shows how much salary they make. So again, total compensation. I like this because it can be used as proof of employment. Maybe they have to show proof somewhere, or they just need a benefit letter to see stuff that they're enrolled in. I mean, it does tell you here in current benefits, but maybe they need it in a letter format. I also put in my benefit feature sheet because I want this employee to see what I have available in my current open enrollment. You may want to have a past open enrollment. Maybe there's other feature sheets or provider feature sheets that you'd like to link up in here. You can do that. So as they're shopping through this here, they can launch this and they can say, okay, this is what I want. Nope, don't want that. This is what I'm going to elect and move on. Done deal. They can also update dependents and beneficiaries. So this is what I have now on my current record, but they can add and they can also edit the information here real time. Just open that little widget right there so you can see what the screen looks like. Another thing too that I like to mention about in the benefits area, you have wellness, so you can reveal wellness, but you can also customize this menu. So along the lines of the benefit feature sheet, VSP is one of my carriers that I offer in my open enrollment as a benefit. Perhaps you want to put their website in here. So this is another feature in the ESS portal. You can put, links to websites. Perhaps you use a benefit mall. You're not using those benefits here, the life events or the open enrollment. You can do third-party links here. So again, it's essentially this is becoming your intranet. You have an all-in-one. One of the things that I want to point out here is, well, honestly, for me, the biggest benefit of having a portal like this is when you have Sage HRMS payroll, or if you have Sage 300 payroll, or even if you have the Sage 100 payroll, it's nice to have this pay history in here. So as you're running those payrolls, this is your final result. So you're now publishing the pay statement here in the ESS portal. As I'm doing demos to certain prospects or customers, they're telling me some stories about, oh, they're still using, they use Sage 300. They don't have HRMS. They're using Sage 300 or Sage 100. Some of them use Print Boss. Some of them are still putting them in cubby holes. Some of them are still having manila folders going to the locations, emailed. Gosh, I mean, that, to be honest with everyone on the call, I want to say probably certain areas in the States that's out of compliance. However, this here, this is compliant. You have a portal that they can access 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Yes, you're running your payroll, but it's publishing the statement. You'll have access to it in your payroll, but this is what the employee sees. They have the payday, the start and end, perhaps a check, direct deposit, doesn't matter. Hours paid, wages, deductions, taxes, net pay. But what's nice is that that stub launches and they can download the stub. I like this here as an employee because I can get in here. I want to see what I want to see on Friday, or you pay on Thursday or whatever. I want to be able to go quickly on a portal, look at my pay advice. Perhaps it's Saturday. I'm at the bank or I'm at a car dealership somewhere or whatever. They're asking me for pay stubs. I don't have to wait till Monday. I can get it here. I can get it now. I can get historical copies. I mean, gosh, look how many sheets of pages I have. It just makes it easier for the employee. More, I want to say, what's that saying? Happier employees, better production. I probably said that wrong, but you guys get it. When employees are happy and they have tools like this, the workplace essentially becomes more productive. I know it would for me because as an employee, I have this nice tool that I can go in at any time and get pay history. I can look at benefit. I don't have to bother my manager, or I don't have to bother HR, or sometimes you folks are so busy, they make a request and you can't get to it immediately. There's a 24 to 48 hour turnaround. Essentially, guys, that goes away because these employees have access to all of this information. Um, I think I spoke about this before. You know, with if you don't have the employee self-service now on perpetual and you have HRMS payroll, what I would recommend is migrating over to the premium version first, then explore this premium ESS portal because of this complete redesign. To all of my new customers or customers on the call here that have Sage 300 payroll, don't have HRMS, or maybe you have HRMS and pay the premium payroll, or if you have just Sage 300 alone or Sage 100 alone, talk to your account rep. This is a wonderful tool. It honestly, when you run your payroll process, all of this data is feeding here as your final result, and whatever you're doing outside of your payroll software to deliver this information, that essentially goes away, and the headaches behind it. So, Julie, I know I'm talking and ranting about all of this wonderful stuff. Has anything by any chance come up? Anything that I need to stop and visit? Because I'm going to tell you, I'm going to give the team on this call probably about 10 minutes back to their day, because I know we're doing this in sessions, but I wanted to educate why the premium version, why to migrate, and to show them all of the nice features here and how I run it in my organization. Anything come up or?
Absolutely. Courtney, have you seen any questions come through?
Yes, I do have a couple questions for you guys.
Good
Okay.
deal. Good deal.
Awesome. So first question, are there any improvements for cross-employer transfers when employee transfers to a different company within the enterprise?
Questions.
So it, as of now, it is still per employee. So the function is still there. What the improvement is that you can now do it in the web release. So they're on the roadmap. There's more improvement on that particular area of the software.
Got it. Another question we had come through is there still the need to enter dashes and slashes for the date of birth and social security number when creating a first-time user?
Repeat that question again, if you don't mind. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so it looks like they're saying, when you're creating a first-time user, you have to add a dash and, a backslash between the date of birth dates and the social security number. Is that still a requirement? Are you able to enter those numbers in, without the dashes or backslashes?
Well, I don't think you should do it in here. Let's put that. I don't want to do that now here. Let me put that, get the person who asked that question, put it on park, and I personally will get back to them.
Awesome. So yeah, if that was your question, we'll reach out to you.
Yeah, and also too, I want to correct myself. So under the employee tasks here, before I even talk about this, the core record, this here, the mothership, a lot of the stuff is still living in here. So essentially what they're doing is recreating a lot of the information in the web version. That cross-employer transfer right now is not in the web. So I'd like to definitely correct that. These are the employee tasks that you can do now from the latest release. The cross-employer transfer still lives in the core record. However, there has been a lot of feedback, just like the customer or the prospect that asked. There's been a lot of feedback about this cross-employer transfer. So our dev team is aware, and there is enhancement on the roadmap for this feature. I believe there was discussions about not allowing it as a single, but multiple employees. So right now, if you're going across employer transfer, you can only do a single record. Some customers were asking if we could do multiple records, multiple employee records. So yes, it is being addressed, but I wanted to correct where you still have to do it here in the core, and essentially it is out of the box what it is now.
Okay,
Hope that
great to know
answered.
that that's,
Yeah.
yeah, great to know that that's in the future development.
It is. A lot of stuff is in future development here. So a lot of the stuff that I've showed you, and also too, like this cross-employer transfer is here. Another thing that I like to point out is your reports still live in the core desktop. This is coming in a future release into the web version. So some of the stuff remains in the desktop, but I will tell you with this latest release they just did here in September, they've moved more of more of the function from the desktop into the web, and you're going to see a lot of it coming here in future releases. You're going to see it coming into the web as well.
Awesome. So we've had a question about mobile view. So this customer is, unsure if they're gonna about switching to the web version or not. So they'd like to know, they've experienced some glitches, I think, with the portal version on mobile view and have not used the web version mobile view. So they're wondering if there's any improvements to mobile device view in either version.
The premium version, yes. The perpetual version, no, it is static, but they have the ESS. Yes, they have enhanced that in the premium version.
Okay, yes, I think that's what we're looking for. They're saying they've had some issues with ESS in the past, and they want to know if there's an improvement there.
Sure. And remember too, another enhancement coming down the road here soon is going to be a physical app for the ESS portal. So enough, I know it optimizes to the smart device now, but it'd be nice to have them downloaded from their app store, which is on the roadmap. It's coming out, guys. It's coming.
Awesome. That's also great to know. That's all the questions I have for now. I would, if you have a question you haven't had a chance to submit it in your chat box or your question box, we can take a few seconds for you to do that.
Sure.
But for now, that's all I have. And I'll, unless I see another one coming in the next few seconds.
Absolutely. And one last thing I'd like to mention too, I know I spoke about it before. Even if you migrate over to the premium version and your organization, I've been working on this software for 14 years. I have some organizations that they don't want to do web stuff right now, and that's fine. You'll still have access to the desktop premium version. However, you do now have that new web release. Another thing that I'd like to point out is if your current Sage payroll platform, 300, 100, if it's being hosted and you folks are accessing that via Azure, or if you have it hosted like a cloud software, why not introduce this into your portfolio and let's go ahead and plug it in, and it would be via the cloud just like your payroll. We would essentially plug this in. What we do is we take your payroll data, because that's the existing data, we match that here in HR, all of your ID numbers, all of the stuff, the moving parts that make HR work. And then moving forward, your entries would happen in HRMS and would synchronize into your payroll. Because guys, in the real world, everything happens in HR first and payroll secondary. No offense to nobody, but that's honestly when you walk into a company, everything happens in HR. So entries happen here and sync into payroll.
Great. And I haven't had any other questions come through. So if we want to wrap up a little bit, and Julie, I don't know if you want to go a little bit more in depth into the 10% offer.
Yep. So just kind of want to wrap everything up, tie everything in a bow. We are offering a 10% discount for services if you choose to migrate to this new version. Also the opportunity to be able to, if you wanted to choose different modules, add different modules, we have the opportunity to offer you a discount on that as well. But what I want to just wrap up with here is that one of the things that we recognize as organizations who sell technology, employees feel invested in and empowered when they are given the tools of technology to be able to navigate through their life cycle within the organization. And I think you see that Sage is backing that up and that they are offering lots of different options for employees to feel empowered. So we are super excited about what is down the road. Obviously, totally enhancing the solution quarter by quarter. What you saw today is deliverable, so we're excited about that. And if you are interested in pursuing this migration, you are welcome to reach out to your CAM, your customer account manager, that you are assigned to, or you can reach out to me and I can link you up with those folks. Or as always, you're welcome to reach out to the HR help at swktech.com. So we're going to give you a few minutes back today. We very much appreciate the opportunity to present what is new and forthcoming with Sage, and we wish you all the best for the rest of the week. Thanks for joining us.
Yes. Yes,
Yes,
thank
and
you, Julie. And to add to Julie, let us know in that survey that you get when you exit the webinar that you're interested in that deal, and we'll definitely have someone follow up.
Absolutely.
wonderful. Thank you for having
Thanks,
me too,
Danny.
and be
Thanks,
nice to hear
Courtney.
feedback on other sessions too, because I know we're going to make this a series. So this is just the we haven't even cleared our throat yet on the portfolio. There's a lot to come, folks. A lot to
Yes,
come. So
absolutely.
perfect.
Awesome. Thank you,
Thank.
Thanks,
Danny. Thank you,
Courtney.
Julie. Have a
Take
wonderful
care,
rest of
you.
your day, everyone.
Take care,
Bye-bye.
everyone. Bye now.